What's going on, people? Welcome to the full view. It is Monday, it's 6 p.m. So that means one thing, you're going to get your dose of the full view. And today we've got two new additions to the full view. We have got Kenny. Kenny, how you doing?
I'm great, thanks very much. Thanks for the invite.
No problem, mate. No problem. I think that the United View community absolutely loved your opinion and your thoughts and your stuff after the game, and they really wanted to see more of you. And here at United View, if the viewers demand it, that is what happens. And we also have yes, no problem, Kenny. And we also have AB all the way from America. He went to his first Manchester United game a couple of weeks ago, or a week and a bit ago now. And again, you guys demanded more from him. How you doing, AB? Thanks for joining us, bro.
Good. How are you guys doing? Thank you for having me.
No, listen, bro, you are more than welcome. More than welcome. It's great to have you on board. So I'm sure the comments and the community are going to make you guys feel really welcome. We've obviously got Owen. Oh, yeah, he's here. We've got Marcel. and look, listen, the Queen means that Mina's camp have been saying, listen, where's Mina? As soon as Mina's not here, I don't like this, As soon as Mina's not on one stream or something, look at her.
I love them. I love the minions.
Wait there, what's that? Is that the official logo? What's that?
No, it's a heart sign.
But it's like an M for Mina as well.
Oh. Yeah, it looks like an M. I can't lie. Mina, it looks like an M,
It's Brandon. The minions are out. Queen means here.
Oh my God. Exactly. There you go. And Art19 says, we've got an American representative finally. So there you go, AB. Big up everybody watching from America as well. But so listen, smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. It's the full view. You know it's high energy. And first of all, there is a new member. Big up to Brandon Michael. He is the latest member of the UV Members Club. Big up to you. And remember, you guys can follow Brandon if you want to join the Members Club. Link is in the video description below. Right, let's get into it. I'm going to come to Kenny first, actually. Are United in a title race? There's a good feeling about the place. Everybody seems happy. We're going in the right direction. But Kenny, are we in a title race?
I think all the top six are in a title race, basically. I think we're just about to it halfway through the season. I think the next 6 weeks will be the definitive, will define our season. We've got 11 games in 6 weeks. We've got Barcelona twice. We've got a semi-final of a cup. And we've got, I think it's 6 or 7 Premier League games. And the only team that we play in the top 4 is Arsenal. All the rest, Crystal Palace we play twice, we play Forest, we play Leicester. There are teams that are hovering around the middle. So whilst, yes, we're definitely in a title race. However, I do believe that the next 6 weeks, by the end of February, will define the season. We could be in a cup final, we could have beaten Barcelona, and we could have not dropped many points. We're not expecting now to drop points against Leicester. We play Brentford at home. We play Leeds away. So I'm confident when I look at that run of fixtures, because if we are not playing the top 6, then they've got to be playing each other over that 6-week period. So they're going to be stealing points off each other. So it's in our hands, basically. It's in our hands.
Wow, Kenny's gone strong. AB, I'm going to come to you as the second guest for today as well. You brought this up when we first met, actually, a couple of weeks ago, and you went straight to it, and you was really confident. I mean, now we've won even more games since then. How do you feel? Should we be hesitant? Should we just focus on the top 4, or are we in a title race, bro?
So I would say we should focus on not even top 4, maybe top 3. But then again, I believe we are in the title race. So there are various reasons why I say that. I believe. So like he mentioned now, there are a few games that we need. I know Brentford owe us 3 points because we gave them 3 points, so they have to repay that. Man City, we gave them 3 points. We collected our 3-point back. Arsenal, we're going to be playing them next. So I would say maybe, if I'm being realistic, they owe us 1 point. But as the senior brother, as we've won more games than them in their history, so we'll just be the senior brother, knock them away and take all the 3 points. So, and then when they then play each other, so that's Man City should take 6 points away from them. I believe Man City is not going to beat, when we go into the list, Man City is not going to beat Liverpool and all those other. I don't think so. That's just my personal.
It's all worked out. You've worked out every fixture.
Yeah, I have done the maths. I believe some people have to do us a favor because of the position we're at. And if we're being realistic, when we look at it, it's the reason we're even having this conversation and debating right now is not having this dialogue is because of the first 2 games. That was where we actually lost most of our points. And once we ignore that and we really look at what we're actually doing, we actually really, if I've not done the math yet, but if I was to redo the math again, I think we could have been above us now, apart from those 6 points that we missed. So thinking about those,
Are we back?
Yeah, you're back, mate. You're back.
So thinking about those 6 points, we were not ready. We're still coming from the hangover from the previous season. And that was what made us lose those 3 points. But apart from that, I believe that, yes, we're actually in the title race. And we just need our players. I need Bruno back, even though he's playing okay. But I need the hungry Bruno, the Bruno that came in the first season. I need Anthony Marcel playing to his best. When him and Rashford were competing and scoring, I think they had 25 goals each season. Rashford is way above him right now. So we need him back as well. And he's not back yet. So we're still waiting for that. And then we got the new striker as well. So those would be for Europa League. And guess what? Wan-Bissaka is back. Wan-Bissaka is back.
Yeah, well, you definitely don't play like him now. You said you play like Wan-Bissaka.
No, I don't play like him.
You ain't playing like that, bro. That's good.
No, he plays way better than me. He plays like a professional now. He's not playing like me. Yeah.
John James says, big up AB and Kenny. A lot of love for you guys in the chat as well. The community are really happy to see you guys here. AB, they were saying they love the maths that you're doing. The calculations that you thought of to make this happen is insane. So yeah, big up the optimism on that. Let's go to Mina. There's a lot of optimism in this chat. There's a lot of optimism in the room. There's a lot of optimism in the community. There's a lot of optimism in the fan base. Is it all too early?
Yeah, I'm going to bring you all down to earth.
I knew she was going to do it. I tried at the weekend. I asked her this question about 10 times. Every time she just shook her head at me. She went, no, not yet. Not committing.
Guys, I'm joking. I would say if City are in a title race, United can be too. And I think it's the bias that goes against Manchester United for a lot of people to say that they're not in a title race. But honestly, if City are in a title race, then so are Manchester United. I think I said this in my fan cam, I think the next 6 weeks, those fixtures are important. Like Kenny said, even though we play Arsenal, that is probably the most difficult fixture after the City fixture in the next 6 weeks in the Premier League. We have mid-table teams, and that's no criticism towards them. But the likes of Brentford, who did take 3 points from us this season, is redemption time. We need to go get 3 points there. We got Leeds, we got Palace twice, we've got Leicester, and in between that, we've got 2 big fixtures against Barcelona. So it's going to be interesting to see how deep our squad can go in terms of the ability that they can provide consistently, because we're really playing a game, I think it's like every 3-4 days up until the end of February. We've got the Carabao Cup, and then we've got Reading at the end of the month in the FA Cup. So we've got a run of fixtures, and obviously Ten Hag said he wants to focus, he wants to win a trophy. So of course he's going to put out strong lineups against Nottingham Forest and Reading too. So the most important thing is our squad depth. We know that we are one suspension or one injury away from some positions being unable to be filled. If Casemiro gets one more yellow card, he's out the next game. I hope he doesn't pick up one against Crystal Palace, because he'll be out against Arsenal. Diogo Dalot is out right now, injured. Wan-Bissaka is performing very well. Hopefully Wan-Bissaka can continue to play to this ability and perform well and stay fit. Obviously, Anthony Marcel, I don't know why he came off at halftime. I guess it was a change of tactics, because he did look relatively fit, but he's also one injury away. Marcus Rashford, who is probably getting some black seed oiled all over his hip at halftime in the changing room, I'm worried about him. So if we can stay fit and keep the momentum going, fingers crossed. I think end of February, I told Owen, come back to me and I'll say that we're in the title race.
Yeah.
Noted.
Noted.
Yeah.
Exactly.
HR, just keep that note, mate.
I mean, Marcel, you're always Mr. Positive. You're always Mr. Glass, half full. Kenny's come on here with a lot of promise as well. He's feeling good, but at the same time breaking it down as to where it could go wrong for us, but also why it can go right. AB's done all the maths. He's done the algebra. We're winning the league. Like, he's there. But what are you saying, Marcel? Like, are you believing? Are you in that mode now? Actually, I haven't even really asked you this. Really, are you in the mode of it, or are you just game by game?
Not fully, Flex. I agree with Kenny and AB's sentiment, and Mina's really been honest, like, of what the predicament really is, to be honest with you. And I think I'm as close to Mina in terms of where we are at. You know, we're a thin squad. We need a better squad to carry us through these games. There's so many games, guys. Lots and lots of football matches to play. But I would say we are in a title challenge. Whether we win the league or not, I'm not there yet. I think there's a lot of football to be played, 4 months, 3 months of football to be played. But we are definitely title challenging. We want to be Man United Football Club. You know, if you're in third position halfway through January, you consider yourself in a title challenge now. You know, and Ten Hag's the kind of manager that kind of breeds that kind of confidence, breeds that kind of mentality within his players. So he's definitely instilling that into his players now. We want to kick on. I think we've definitely secured or in and around the Champions League positions now, and that was the main target. You know, at the beginning of the season, we're all thinking, let's see good football. I think that box is ticked now. And it's about just being consistent. We definitely are in a title challenge, and we'll be in and around it now, but we've got a load of away fixtures. So I know everyone's spoken about the fixtures and the congestion of it, but we've played a lot of the home fixtures against the top six. Now it's going to their grounds and playing away. That's a difficult challenge. Yes, we've earned the right to win football matches away against Leicester, against Southampton and Wolves. But, you know, Chelsea was a draw, you know, and City was a loss. You know, so against the top six now, we have to be focusing on, can we get points in their backyard? Arsenal, can we get points there? You know, Tottenham away. Yes, that's a hunting ground for us. And last season, I think we played very well, but can we get points there as well? You know, against these top six, I know Kenny spoke on it very well. You know, the other teams are going to be playing against each other as well. So there will be 6 pointers flying around here and there. And I agree with him, you know, and if they can drop points as well, and Kenny's right, things do have to go in our favor for us to ascend in that way. But we are in the top 4 race. We are definitely in a title challenge. And if the likes of Weghorst can come on and hit the ground running, which I believe he can, and fit into the system well, I really like the tactical view. Cam's done it brilliantly in terms of explaining the point and role of Tony Marshall, man. It was a very, very enlightening.
He got a lot of criticism. He got a lot of criticism for that first.
He did. I was part of that. And I agreed with you, Fleck. I agreed with what you were saying on it, bro.
Yeah.
I agree with 100% with what you were saying, Fleck, in terms of, you know, I was out here screaming and shouting at him the whole game from the East Stand for sure. You know, why are you not pressing? But, you know, Cam's obviously is given a clear, you know, and as soon as I saw the explanation from Cam's, I could see it in my mind, the way he's been utilized. Is that the best way for him to be utilized going forward against you know, lesser teams or inferior to us? I don't think so. I think you need to go into that defensive line and press defenders and give them problems. But it's positive, man. It's completely positive, and I agree with everyone on the panel so far. We are in a title challenge.
Solid. They're solid, Owen. That's well, basically.
What do
Mina
you
don't
think?
want to admit it, but Mina basically said it. She said,
"What do you think, Flex? What do you think, Flex? What do you think? Are we in? Before you come to me, you first. Yeah. Are we in a title race?
Listen, mate. Just give me my top 4. Yeah. Anything else on top of that is a bonus. I ain't forgetting where this team's coming from. I'm not forgetting how bad it was last year. I'm not forgetting that before we even kicked a ball this season, I said 5th at best.
And
just a style of. I said 5th at best and an identity. That's what I wanted. And if we could pick up a cup, great. I just didn't see. If I'm honest, I didn't see us being in this position. Forget like being able to challenge for the title. I'm talking about just our team, the way it's playing, how Ten Hag's put his mark down in 6 months now. It's just incredible. From when he walked through the door on tour, you could feel something. But then to see us go through some tough moments early on, and to him to just ride out those moments against Brentford and Manchester City and Brighton in the first game, and then when we played really poorly against Aston Villa. So I'm not saying that we're not in a good spot. I'm not saying that, you know what, if we go to Palace and win, if we go to Arsenal and win, then I will talk differently then, because but those things haven't happened yet. As of now, today, when we have to play Palace and then like Marcel said, to go to an away ground, especially Arsenal, right, and win there, that's a statement. If you beat Arsenal, the Emirates is a fortress right now, right? We know that. Even if you don't want to give Arsenal credit, even if you say Arsenal aren't this, they're not going to win the league, it doesn't matter. Arsenal is a tough place to go to, right? And I just feel that we can't take our eyes off Palace. I don't like the fact that this game's in between. I know they might be in a bit of indifferent form, but cold Wednesday night under the lights at Selhurst Park. If you don't turn up properly, mate. Yeah, exactly. If you don't turn up properly, you can get
devil's advocate, Flex.
Yes.
Can we use it to our momentum? If we win an away game at Palace a few days before, go towards the away travelling fans at the end of it, give it that, go to them. Everyone's going to tell you what, we're going to go to the Emirates on Sunday. That kind of, you can use it. You can use it to your momentum.
Look what Ramsino says. We can lose both games and be 12 points and out the title race. So, it's fine margins, isn't it? It's fine margins. But I'll tell you one thing, though. For the first time in a hell of a long time, I don't have the feeling that this team is like a result away from capitulation or a result away from, going on a bad run. I just feel confident, win, lose or draw, which actually, how nice is it to kind of forget the losing feeling? Last game we lost was Aston Villa away, and then we put it right straight away against them in the Carabao Cup. Then we beat Fulham. Then we've come back and we've won every single game after that drubbing from Aston Villa. So, are we in a title race? I'm like Mina. Not yet for me. Not yet. But you beat Palace and you beat Arsenal. Absolutely. Of course we are.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you there. I mean, it is too soon. I joke. It is too soon to say that we're in a title race. We are a couple of wins from really having a real serious conversation, I think. Look, if you go to Arsenal and you beat them, you've got to say, we beat them home and away. I do think how far we do go into this race is going to be dependent on the away games. To Marcel's point, we still do have to go away to Anfield, still have to go away to St. James's Park, still have to go away to the Amex. Those kind of games, tough. You never know. But at the same time, so do a lot of the rivals. Arsenal themselves, they have to play City twice. So even that could change a lot of things. So I do think that there's still plenty of time to go. Maybe it's too soon, but the fact that we're even having this conversation because there is a kernel of truth in it is a positive, is it not? We would have never had this conversation last season or even a few months ago, right? What was the really sort of gratifying thing? Going into the derby at the weekend, one, having a bit of confidence, but two, knowing, you know what? If we don't get the result we want to, it will be okay in the long term because every single time there's been a slip up this season, Ten Hag learns from it. He doesn't make those same mistakes twice. Every single time there's a slip up, reaction straight away. I think back to when we played Brighton first game of the season, when he played Potter again at Chelsea, 30 minutes, he dominated him. Absolutely dominated because he knew what he was going to do. Pep the same at the Etihad, got embarrassed. He went, that's not going to happen this time around because I know what he's going to do. And also thinking forward to the game against Arsenal at the Emirates, the sirens go because that's why this is a steal. I always use that. Thinking forward to that, he's already played Arteta once, so he knows what he's kind of going to do. So I really do think the game at the Emirates, I feel like it's set up for us. I think it's going to be similar to the City game. They'll have a lot of the ball. We'll play on the counter-attack. The one thing I would say is I just feel we have to be a bit more clinical on the counter-attack. Maybe we won't get as many chances that we got against City, particularly in the first half. But I'm not afraid anymore, Flex. I'm not afraid.
So I would ask a question. Do you guys believe Man City is in the title race?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
So if we believe Man City is in the title race and we're just 1 point behind Man City, but we don't want to give ourselves credit. So I was in the theater of dream watching Manchester United. It's a place of dream. You just have to dream. But Mina just brought my hopes a little bit down when she said, if Casemiro gets a yellow card, and that's a really scary one because once Casemiro is in the team, I believe anything can happen. I believe we're just there for it. Even like if he's not, nobody knew he could pass the way he's passing the ball. We all just knew him about, solid defending. But now he's just bringing the ball around. We have two really good tacklers. We have the Spider-Man and then we have Casemiro who are just jumping in, getting all those tackles. And if we remember the Man City game, we're losing until I'm going to bring him up again. Wan-Bissaka decided to start doing some trick in the middle. And then the crowd came up. Once the crowd came up, and then he had a shot after that. And then before you know, we're 2-1 up. 2-1 up. So I personally believe the way I see United playing, Eric Ten Hag is a really, really smart, he's an intelligent individual, both emotionally and intellectually. So the way he sets up the team and he learns from his mistake. And even against Arsenal, there were so many mistakes that were made. And then they were also not wise. Because of how young their team is, I believe we would also capitalize on that. We have Casemiro. All we just have to do is stop their midfield, which is Partey. He's from Ghana, so I have a lot of praise for him as well. But once we stop him, and if we watch the game against Tottenham, the way he plays, instead of him like just as most of the CDM, he plays instead of him passing the ball back, he just springs its way forward and straight to Saka. So that's the one person we have to stop. Once we stop Partey and we stop Saka from playing, I don't think that there's any really threat in their team anymore, because Luke Shaw playing defender, he's playing it as if he has been doing it for years already. He's really good at what he's doing.
Back.
So if we still remember, we talked about we have a team football players, but if you look at the bench, we have 3 proper defenders sitting on the bench. Thus, we can take those 2 and start playing all the other league game, and try to make sure that they win it for us, like the League Cup against Barcelona, and then we have the big striker now playing all those, and then we have the proper team. But once Casemiro is in the team, and let's not forget, we still have McTominay. McTominay was playing really good, and then he left, and then he's going to come back, try to prove how he can do better than this. So there is still those determination of fighting spirit that once they come back into the team, they are going to keep the momentum going. And once they keep the momentum going, we just hope they slip up and we don't slip up. And with the way we're playing, I don't think there's really going to be any slip ups. There's less error in the back. I can't even remember what De Gea did against Man City. No.
Well, apart from pick the ball out of his net. Yeah, apart from pick the ball out to restart. That was it.
That's really not his fault. I can blame so many players for that, but it's really not. There's nothing he could do in that aspect. But against Man City, not doing anything. I don't even know. Did Alan play? Did he play that game?
Exactly. He wasn't there. Kenny, you was going to come in with something there, and then after Kenny, we'll get some super chats and we'll carry on.
Yeah, the same theme as what AB is saying is that the thing that we've noticed about Eric Ten Hag in particular post-match is he doesn't talk about individual players and what they've done in the game. What he talks about is process, journey, identity, transition. At the end of this match on Saturday, his words were, "My team were brilliant." Now, what he meant by that was, he didn't mean that Wan-Bissaka's Cruyff was superb or whatever. What he meant was, he now realises that his squad, what played his first 11, are on the way on that journey. So all what he's taught them, all what he's teaching them about discipline, about transition, where he wants them, is coming to fruition. And it's just touching on what we've said. He's put an extra 10% on. There were 2 or 3 players on there on Saturday. We wouldn't have had in the team at the beginning of the season. We'd have sold them. We'd have sold Fred, Wan-Bissaka. We could have probably sold Rashford as fans. We were so disappointed with the performance last year. What he's done, he's getting an extra 10, 15% over them. The challenge comes is when McTominay starts and others start. Do they also have that 15% extra from last year? If we do, they will step in. They will step in, and the journey will continue for the whole squad. If they don't, and we lose Casemiro, we know we're going to have problems. I think, and this might be an ace up his sleeve or whatever. We watched the program last week, one of your shows with the Ajax lads, and they said when he brought Martinez into the team, he brought him in as a defender, left back. He then moved him to the midfield, and the fans thought he was fantastic. But he moved him from defensive midfielder into the defence, into the centre-half position. Could we, in the very near future, be seeing Martinez? Probably, if we have to go in defensive mode away, could we see him come into that midfield? If he likes Shaw where he is, why not? Would you trust Martinez at CDM, or would you trust Scott McTominay? I know who I trust.
That's a bloody good question, isn't it?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That's a good breakdown. That I mean, I was on the journey there. I'm taking it in. I'm thinking, yeah, that's true, because that is what happened at Ajax. And actually, it's funny you say that, actually, Kenny, and everyone. There's a little bit of transfer rumours at the moment with the Telegraph saying that Newcastle are in for Scott McTominay. And that sparked a lot of debate online. We were going to talk about it more in the morning, but it kind of segues into this and your question there. Who would you rather trust? And do you think that, Kenny, just to finish off on your point there, do you think that is what we're seeing from Erik Ten Hag? Actually, that no player's safe and secure in one set position within reason.
Absolutely.
And he can squeeze, more out of these.
Absolutely. I think I would guess at 80%, when they did the predictions for the weekend, had Martinez at left centre back. I think as fans, because we've not seen anything wrong. But as you've said before, good is not good enough. Shaw's been tremendous. So for Scott McTominay to step in for someone, he has got to be of a very, very high standard when he comes into that team. He knows he's had Martinez. He's had Martinez at Ajax. He knows what he can play at either left back, centre midfield, or centre defence. So he knows. So I'm betting that we may see something different from Martinez. It might only be for a short period. It might be so we can rest Casemiro against Nottingham Forest or Reading or whatever. And I think we could very well see. It's got. If worse comes to worse, if he can get an extra 15% out of Harry Maguire and Lindelof when they're coming on or replacing, that's fine. Are you with me? You'll get away with it against lesser teams if you get that 50% uplift. But I think in some of the bigger games, if we lose Casemiro, if we lose Bruno, and he's got to revisit that.
Cliffhanger. No. Cliffhanger. Oh no!
I was listening.
I was engrossed.
I was in there.
Yeah.
I was enjoying.
He's back.
He's back.
I'm back. I'm very sorry about that. What happened?
That's all right, mate. That's all right. No, you're back. We got you.
That's fine.
You're in. Yeah, you can carry on.
Yeah. So no, it's about, we speak about, and we're talking about loan deals, and we're talking about this, that, we're talking about other things as well. What will define our season? Those people that were sat on the bench have got to raise that. They've got to come on and be 15% better than what they have been. Because as he said about his journey, about his process, about his culture, he's happy. He's got to be happy. The journey that he has achieved over 6 months, it's got to be. The way that they played at the weekend, in defence, it was that transition. When we lost the ball, it was 4-4-2, and everybody was on song. Everybody. There was no mistake. All right, if there was a mistake, it wasn't a positional mistake or whatever. He knew he had it absolutely spot on against City. And if he can do it against City, Manchester City had 71% of the ball. They had 5 shots and 1 on target. That's not because City played bad. That's because we defended well as a team. That transition from attack to defence was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
The transition, they're really good.
Just to add to your point, and when we talk of defense, it's not really clearance. It's good positioning, because they were not even actually getting the shots in. They could not even get in the box. So sometimes when we talk about defend, we're not really talking about packing the box. We're talking about proper defending, where the other team does not find space. And that's actually what he did right there. And that was what the team did as well. And like you said, once McTominay comes in, he has been learning from Casemiro. I hope he has been learning from Casemiro. I hope he has also been learning from Lisandro as well. And if he comes in and he plays like them, he should just do what he is good at. Not try to really do what he is not good at. And if we remember, there was a game where I can't remember the team we're playing, but he didn't really play McTominay as a deep line. He played him forward, who can also run back. And we really need that type of player, because he has he has those good runs where nobody would think he's going to do anything, and boom, he's going to surprise you. And that's the element of surprise that we have in the team as well now.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm going to get the super chats read out, and then we're going to come to Mina and Marcel. It's a great show. There's so much going on, so much opinion, and you guys are getting involved in the comments as well. GJE says, Arsenal need to play us and City twice. They have more fixtures against the top 6 sides than us. Never know what could happen. There is still half a season. And that was, Kenny was talking about that, about the top 6 playing all against each other and nicking points off each other. Marcel was talking about away games, and we've got a lot of home ones out of the way. So yeah, a big story to tell there. Troy Taylor says, second half of the season, we're doing a title charge. The belief is there from Troy. Big up to you for the super chat. Lil Yo-Yo says, Flex, please stay on the fence. An antidote to the judge. Don't jinx us, Flex. Stay on the fence. They want me to stay on the fence. But then when I stay on the fence, sometimes they like, speak your mind. I can never win. Dale says, number 1, that tactical view was superb. Yeah, we've really got to big up Cam today for that tactical view. I left there thinking, bloody hell, I didn't think of things like that. Like I really did take that in. So yeah, big up to Cam on the tactical view. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out after this. Don't go anywhere now. Make sure you keep watching here for the next half an hour. Number 2, big up the newcomers. Big up to Kenny and big up to AB. And number 3, AB with the heaven settings. A lot of people saying you look like you're sitting in heaven there. AB. You look like you're in heaven, bro. And number 4, Mina just joined the Reckless Gang. I.e., don't blow caution to the wind. Don't worry about talking sense. Just join the Reckless Gang. They want you to join Mina. She's saying, not yet. I can't. You can. Real Madrid fan, thank you for the super chat. Says, you guys shouldn't be worried. Since Casemiro started his career, every team he has been on either won the league or 2 trophies. Now that my team has lost him, I don't see any trophy coming this year. That's interesting from a Real Madrid fan saying how influential Casemiro is. And Stockton says, my problem with Fred's contract is Bruno, Eriksson, Fred, Casemiro all entering their 30s. Do we already have an age in midfield? We could be. That's an interesting point. We can talk about that a little bit in the show as well. And Mike Caron says, for the title race question, we need to be looking at Arsenal. They're top. We're 9 points behind. We can't be in a title race based on how close we are to City. That's interesting. But everyone's saying that City are still in a title race and we're only 1 point behind them. But are they just saying that because everybody knows City can win 15 games in a row? They've proved it, and that's why. But I get what you're saying. We need to look at Arsenal and reduce that 9-point gap if we're in a title race. Santiago says, maybe an unpopular opinion, but unless we replace McTominay immediately, I think that we need the squad depth with the fixture pile up and would rather keep him, I think he says. Alan says, too many if buts this season. I'm content with the Champions League spot and maybe a light trophy. Next season, though, we are 100% winning the league. And a minimum, that's a big jump, isn't it? We're 100% winning the league and a minimum Champions League semi-final. Uncomfortable conversations. Okay. And Asir is the latest member of the UV Members Club as well. So big up to Asir. Welcome to the UV Members Club as well. And oh yeah, I've read that already. Mina, there's been a lot spoken about, different players and, Kenny talking about we can get an extra 15% out of players. I want to talk about Wout Weghorst, actually. I want to talk about what sort of impact you see him having, how quickly you see him having it. Do you still think Marcel's still going to be the main guy and then Velksil's just coming off the bench? Or can you see Weghorst starting way more than we think? What's your take?
I think it depends on how Ten Hag lines up. I think every game we see it tactically, he lines up maybe similar, maybe with changes, but in terms of the tactical decisions in game, it's different every game we play. So I really think a big part of whether we see Marcel playing more or not depends on that. I think there's been like a bit of lazy analysis when it comes to discussing Weghorst and people labeling him as this big man where we're just going to lump balls into the box. When I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he can offer something even similar to what Anthony Martial does at the moment. But I think it's lazy to just be like, oh, we're just going to be putting balls into the box nonstop. This is a guy that scored 22% of his goals as headers when he was at Wolfsburg. Predominantly all of his goals came with his right foot and some alternated with his left foot. He has the ability to play with his back to goal, similar to Anthony Martial, but he has also the ability to link up, similar to Anthony Martial. He also has the ability to run behind defenders at a relatively quick pace for someone who's 6'6" and that big in stature. So I do think that we might see something different to what we see now, but not that different. I don't think we're going to be the kind of team that our fullbacks are going to be putting balls into the box nonstop. The good thing is now they have people to target. I remember against Manchester City, there was a moment when we had the ball on the left-hand side and it was Rashford trying to get past a defender, and Anthony Martial was coming out of the box, literally standing about 5 yards away from Rashford. And as a striker, I'm thinking, like, get in the box. Why are you out? Why are you lurking outside of the box for? But when Weghorst comes in, I know that, you know, he will be on that penalty spot. He will be lurking around those positions, around the centre backs. That will just predominantly, I think, the most important thing is it will, I wouldn't say bring fear to the centre backs, but they will look at him and think, okay, a man of big stature, come corners, we're going to have to double up on him. And can I just make a point? I think it was AB that said something about Scott McTominay, and, you know, getting 10-15% extra out of him in terms of quality. I think Scott McTominay has had his chances in the club. I think he's had his chances. I feel really disappointed this season when I see the performances that he's put in sometimes that are worthy of criticism. And there's players that we know, academy players, that could get those opportunities instead of him. And I'm going to give an example. And this is not me criticizing him for no reason. I really think Zidane Iqbal is being unjustly wasted on the bench at Manchester United. And I don't know what it is, because Erik Ten Hag spoke quite highly about him when he came into the role. And he actually said, I don't know how a player of his caliber is still playing academy football. And then he was playing academy football again on the weekend. And I watched the highlights of the game. And I was thinking, this kid is way ahead of under 23s football. I don't think that there's an academy kid, him and Kobbie Mainoo, and obviously Garnacho, Pellistri, they are ready for first team football. And there's been moments when I've seen David De Gea, Raphael Varane looking for options in the midfield when we've gone with Scott McTominay, when we've gone with Fred, and they just hid away from the ball. They literally were hiding away from the ball. And the only opportunities that Zidane Iqbal has actually got this season is pre-season and friendlies. And I really think it's unfair. So and I wouldn't say throw him into a match like Crystal Palace to rest Casemiro and throw him in. No, but Nottingham Forest, Reading, I really hope that we see Zidane Iqbal get those opportunities, because I genuinely think that Scott McTominay, he can be trained to be a good footballer, but he will not give us the levels that we want from a Manchester United player. And this is a guy that has more than 100 appearances for the club. He's 26 years old. Obviously, people were critical of Wan-Bissaka, saying that Wan-Bissaka couldn't get any better than what he was. But he was actually, I think, I might be wrong, but I think he's younger than Scott McTominay. I might be wrong on that instance, but he's younger than Scott McTominay.
That's a good question.
I'm not too sure. I don't want to say whether he is, but I genuinely think that
about the same age,
with Casemiro, and obviously, we need that depth. We're not going into the transfer market this January to buy someone. I genuinely think that Zidane Iqbal should get that opportunity. And if he doesn't, I think they should just let him go out on loan, because we're seeing how our academy players are performing out on loan this season. Amad Diallo, Ethan Laird, Alvaro Fernandez. You lot will see in the next episode of the Loan View how well they're performing with the opportunities that they're getting. So if he's not going to play, and Ten Hag did say in the summer that he had plans for him, then please just let him leave and develop. And Scott McTominay, 50 million, Newcastle, you asked for 50 million for Longstaff, give us 50 million for McTominay, and we'll call it a deal there.
Marcel, I don't think Mina is feeling McTominay. I think that's what I took from that. I don't think she rates him. But to you, Marcel, Dale says, I could be wrong, but before Casemiro began Casemiro in, Scott was doing quite well. I remember when he kept Casemiro out the team for the first sort of 4 or 5 games. So my question to you, Marcel, and this is the way the conversation has gone because of some of that little bit of breaking news that kind of came just before we went live. What's your feelings on Scott McTominay? Do you agree with what Mina's saying, which is that he's had his chance, he's proved that he's below the level, or do you think that there's still something there underneath Ten Hag, like how Fred comes in and has his role now and looks to be excelling? How do you see it? How do you see it?
Well, obviously, Kenny's spoken on that extra 15-10% that, you can require out of players and that Ten Hag can possibly get out of players. I think that's still possible. But I definitely agree with Mina in terms of, is this player good enough for the starting lineup? Mina's right. No. The answer is no. He's not good enough for the starting lineup. But he's a squad player. I think he has his role in the team and he can be utilised within that system. We've got quite short players, for want of a better word. You need the height sometimes in teams and systems. And he's got a lot of energy. He's got a lot of energy and he gives a lot of fight for the team and heart. So you do need that sometimes from players. It's not all about ability all the time. We've seen Fred come in and do a job. you know, and it usually requires him to be high intensity, physical, and those kind of things. So sometimes games do require those attributes. We can look to last season against Leeds, where he gave everything Scott McTominay and a very good performance away from home in uncomfortable environments. And sometimes players are utilized for that. Maybe against Crystal Palace in midweek, you know, a team that's very skillful, a team that's got silky players, but sometimes you just need to hit players and be aggressive. So I would say he's a squad player at best. 100% agree with Mina in terms of, you know, if there's money to be made from him though, and so 50 million is a good price. I would definitely bite someone's hand off if they said, yeah, 50 million for him. Happy as day. But I don't know. I think in terms of just squad player at best. Weghorst, the horse, you know, I agree with Mina as well. Very versatile.
Yeah, have you say on that actually? Yeah, because you didn't get a chance to talk about that.
Yeah, very versatile, you know, and I think that speaks to what Kenny and everyone else has been saying. You know, Ten Hag has been tinkering with players and wants versatile footballers. Rashford can play across the front three. We've seen Antony play on the left side at times. We've seen Donny play out wide. We've seen Bruno play out wide. You know, Shaw's been at centre back. Malacia's played at left back and at right back and had a different role in both sides of the pitch. So extremely versatile and just, you know, particular with Weghorst, I think he can do all elements of the game as well. I think Mina's right in that. Yes, he can come deep like a Tony Marshall, but he can also go forward very quickly. I think he's got a bit of the pace. And Tony Marshall right now, I don't know if it's the hamstrings, I don't know what it is, if he's a little bit laboured, but just doing them extra little bursts, I think Weghorst is going to be a bit above him, and there will be an ascendancy in terms of that and that effort in the forward line. I think Antony's game will elevate in terms of crossing ability. He will see a 6'6" giant in the box, available for headers and opportunities to cross. So hopefully we do get those crosses and more of those crosses, Mina, to be honest with you, because that's another element of the game that will be fruitful for us, and goals will come from that. Just a little thing though on the midfield area. I know everyone was talking about Casemiro. Mina obviously mentioned one more yellow card away. The morning show, you guys were talking about Tielemans. So, you know, is that something that, you know, the group would consider, Tielemans sale? You know, and when we look at Eriksen, he's playing at 60%. You know, we can't get the best out of him all the time. You know, against Brentford, against Brighton, he was at his most freshest. You know, he was capable of playing 90 minutes for the first 5 games of the season. But now when you look at it, can he carry on playing this relentless amount of football matches? We're fighting on 4 fronts. And do we and just on Tielemans as one section, but do we see us getting another player on loan? Do we see us buying another footballer? You know, and I want to be positive and optimistic about it, so I believe we do. But what are your guys' thoughts on that in terms of getting a new footballer in? Donny's been out injured.
Kenny, you go and then we'll come to AB on that.
Yeah, I'm disappointed like Mina was, that I'd love to see Iqbal. I can't understand why we've not seen him. The fans are all saying, why we're not playing Iqbal, why we're not playing him. We've all seen what he did on pre-season 2, where he was outstanding. He was outstanding, the young lad. So, and it's a little bit like we brought in the new goalkeeper. Right, we brought the new goalkeeper in, Buckland. Last week at his press conference, we all thought he was going to stay at Buckland. No, his words were, he said, Tom Heaton knows all our lines of defence. He knows where we stand for corners. He knows where we do this or whatever. Are you telling me that Iqbal doesn't know that? So you bring Tielemans in, or whoever, you're going to have to learn that for him. It doesn't put people straight into the team. So you're going to be waiting 3 or 4 weeks for a loan player. Young Iqbal's been training with the first team. He's played in the pre-season. He will know all the lines of defence, the transition, when you go, when you don't go, etc., etc. So it's a bit of a mystery. So before I look at a loan, I would love to see young Iqbal. I think he's a cracking lad. I think he's a real talent.
What do you think on the McTominay front? What do you think on the McTominay front before we come to AB for the rest of McTominay and Weghorst front?
The McTominay and Weghorst, McTominay's had his chance. He's had his chance, McTominay, and he has become a squad player. But he's got to raise his game by 15% minimum. Weghorst, I think, if Weghorst had never played for Burnley, we'd be raving. We would be raving about him. I do, honestly. And I think we're all being beaten down as fans. We're all being laughed at because he played for Burnley and failed in inverted commas. But if you look at his record outside of Burnley, his passing, his transition, his goal per game ratio, his runs, his stamina, all them, he is a 10 Hag player. If you were achieving 45 presses as a centre forward in 90 minutes, you're a Ten Hag player. And at the end of the day, the lad is a Dutch international. You're forgetting that. You have just got a Dutch international that scored 2 goals against Argentina in the World Cup for £3 million. There is no other player on the planet you're going to get for £3 million that scored 2 goals at centre forward in a World Cup.
True.
Yeah. 100% agree.
I've said this before on the fan cams. If we have a fully fit front line, so we've got Marcel, we've got Anthony, we've got Sancho, we've got Rashford or whatever, right? And they're used as being and they're interchanging. We know they can interchange, Rashford can, etc. What Weghorst could give us is what Origi used to give Liverpool. Origi used to come on for Liverpool. He used to start for Liverpool and score a lot of goals. He used to change a game. He's changed European Cup semi-finals. He's changed derby matches. Origi realised that he could have a better career away from Liverpool, and they happily let him go. What have they got now? So I see Weghorst as potentially coming from the bench as a game changer.
Interesting stuff. Really interesting stuff. A lot of people agreeing with you there in the comments, Kenny. AB, how do you feel? Well, we'll carry on with the Weghorst situation and then give us your thoughts on, him versus Martial and the McTominay situation too.
So to start with, the way the new striker is going to, I can't really pronounce it, Weghorst. Let's just go. Let's just go with that.
Weghorst. You can VEG. Weghorst.
Okay, I'll just call him the new striker. Okay, don't spoil his name. Yeah. So the way I believe he's going to be playing is he's actually. I've only watched him once, and that was against Argentina, and I think he did really, really good, and with his aggression, with his mentality and the way he plays. I think we need somebody like that. He's going to remind me of Fellaini a little bit when we need those goals. And we're going to play teams like that, like the way we played Newcastle and the way they sat back and they defended, and then we tried to start crossing in. We won't be crossing in most of the time, but we would cross in when the opportunity arises. We don't have strikers right now that actually like scoring with their head. Martial does it like once in a while. Rashford does it once in a while. And now we're going to have a striker that wants it. He wants it everywhere possible. His older play would be better than Martial because he's bigger, he's stronger. So De Gea can even launch the ball to him. And then there is the other part of him where interchange. Sometimes he might try to drop in just to hold the ball so that the 2 strikers can run in behind him. And so we would have that of him. So I really think he's a good signing, and it's also a competition for Martial. That might even wake him up a little bit, and he would want to bench him. And so whatever is going on I think what the problem with Martial now is his mentality. I think because of all his injury, there's this psychology effect that he's having on him as well, where, maybe if I run too much, I might get injured and I don't want to sit down. But now that there's another player that will be playing, he might want to just forget all that and just go 100%. And hopefully he stays fit. So we have to also remember, when we talk about McTominay, I don't believe he's the best player in the world. He's a squad player, I agree. But we have to talk about what is around him right now. The atmosphere around him, the coach around him, the mentality of the people around him, they are all winners. And once you you have like the winners around you, even you would want to do better. McTominay reminds me when Mina was talking, it reminded me of Lingard. I was like, when is Lingard going to reach his peak? And that's the same view we are looking at McTominay now. So I have settled that McTominay would be a squad player, coming when he wants to. And to be fair, when he has come in, there was a time where we brought in Casemiro, and McTominay was actually playing really good. There would be those kind of games where we would bring him in. And I think just like the coach is doing for Sancho, I think he's doing that a little bit on McTominay, and he's doing that a little bit on Maguire as well, where he benched them. He's doing some work behind, and then once they come in as like a fresh player. And
like he's going to look for a reaction from those guys.
Yeah.
It's similar to like Wan-Bissaka was out of the fray. I mean, like we all said. I mean, he was as good as gone. As good as gone, and now look.
So there is that other aspect of him where whenever we see McTominay again, we're going to be like, where has he been all these years?
Yeah.
You know, we're going to maybe have a new. I'm optimistic a little bit, but maybe have a new Carrick in McTominay as well.
Oh, whoa! AB, you was doing all right. You was doing all right. I was with you. I really was with you, and then you had to drop that.
You know,
you put Sir Michael Carrick's name next to Scott McTominay in any. You can't.
Maybe maybe once or two games. No, I'm not saying it's going to be the Michael Carrick of Manchester United. Maybe one of two games. We are going to see the best of him, and then he'll sit down on the bench again, get his mentality.
I've got to be honest with you. AB, I've got to be really honest with you right now, because the United View community is we dictate what happens off of them. They're saying sin bin. Can we have a sin bin? Yellow card, sin bin. Nah, man, sin bin. AB. WJ Barrett says that's a red card offense. A Grassy says, nah, AB, that is blasphemy. Sin bin from Eagle Eyed Football. They want you gone for a minimum of like 30 seconds to a minute. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I'm just really optimistic with McTominay. I really want him to do well because he's a product of the academy, and I believe there is still more to him. Maybe give him like 1 or 2 more seasons. But to Marcel's point, if we get 50 million for him, I would be like, yeah, thank you. Take him away.
I don't back him that much. Take the money.
No, yeah, take him away, and then we get a better player for him. But for now, I think he's going to come up because I believe in the coach. I believe in his team. I believe in what he's doing, and I believe he's going to bring the best. Now, look at Rashford. Like you said, look at what Rashford is doing now. Nobody would believe Rashford. Rashford has scored in almost every 5 or 6 games in a row now. If you tell me, would Rashford ever do that? Even when he's in its top form, I would tell you no. Maybe some assist. Rashford has even become more selfish than you would ever see him before. Like, he just wants to score goals. That's the credit to the coach. And I believe that mentality, if you add that a little bit into McTominay, then he's going to be a little better than he is. And then to the point of Iqbal, so I just believe in the coach. I believe he's doing the right things for the players because we've seen it in and out. So there is something he's seeing behind the scene that we are not seeing. And so I would say once he's ready to play, they are going to bring him in.
Okay, just lastly, someone said,
I can't believe AB pulled a João Felix. Literally, he had a real strong opening 40 minutes and got a red card.
Lincoln said he's lost his halo after that one. Somebody said just in the comments as well, they're really enjoying having Kenny and AB inside the full view as well. So they're really enjoying that. Even though you said a wild take there, they're still enjoying having you here, which is fantastic. A couple of super chats here as well. Dirk says, hear me out, sell McTominay and buy Tielemans. And Brandon is the latest member of United View Members Club. Alan says, I trust Ten Hag enough to know everything he does is for a good reason as far as Man United is concerned. If Iqbal is not playing right now, there is a valid reason. That's basically what AB was just saying, actually. And that's back to in reference to Mina, who was talking about where is it, Iqbal? And this Fendi Bouge says, give Mina her own show. Such deep insight. I don't know about giving Mina the keys, man. I don't know. That's a bit. Nah, I don't know.
I think you should give me the keys. Give me a copy. If
the community dictate what happens in it, if the community get behind it, then maybe something can happen. But I don't know. I don't know, man. That might be a bit reckless. WJ Barrett says we have enough top fours on. Everyone focusing on the drop off with McTominay, Fred, etc. When it's clearly about the tactical genius in Eric Ten Hag. We are finally playing in a system as opposed to individual players. So thanks for that, WJ Barrett. It's just Danny says. I can't even read that name, actually, to be fair. So apologies. And Zayn Miassi is here, right on cue. And he says, who's top of the league? This is an Arsenal fan, by the way, AB and Kenny. If you don't know who he is an avid Arsenal fan who has his parents' credit card.
Strong use of his mum's credit card. Very strong.
Yes, absolutely.
Powerful.
Yes, very powerful. And he says, who's top of the league still? Thanks for beating City for us. Rashford, who? Odegaard, goal of the season. There wasn't even a goalkeeper in goal, mate, went yesterday.
Yeah.
He didn't even score again. Lloris is not even a goalkeeper. He said he retired from France. He should retire from all football. That was absolutely terrible from Hugo Lloris yesterday. I couldn't believe what he was doing. The last sort of 5 minutes of the show, guys, though, I wanted to just ask you guys' feelings on because me and KG spoke about this in a show coming out tomorrow, so I'm not really going to give my thoughts on this. I'll start with you, Kenny, and then we'll go around the room. Do you feel that we've got our team back? Like the relationship between the fans, the players? How are you feeling about Eric Ten Hag? You look on social media and you see what the admin are posting. You're seeing those viral videos of Varane, and I think Casemiro grabbed two people's kids and just grabbed them and didn't let them go in celebrations. How are you feeling about not just the success and what we can achieve, but just the feeling of what Eric Ten Hag's managed to build in a short space of time?
Yeah, as a lifelong United fan, I can remember when we got relegated to the old second division, right? Last year against Liverpool was more humiliating than being relegated from the first division. So for us to come from a state of pure humiliation last year at Old Trafford to this Saturday was incredible. This Saturday was all the best that we've witnessed over the last 15 years all came to fruition, I think. I thought the atmosphere was superb. I thought the fans, there is no discerning voices in the crowd. There is no discerning voices. Before, it's like we're all like armchair critics about who should be on, who shouldn't be on, who this and the other. We've all got to a stage now. If you watch United every week, you can virtually tell who is going to substitute and when and at what time and why. Because you are looking at his system and you're thinking, Eriksen, you're tired again, lad. You're going off in a minute. Fred, you're doing great. Bruno, you need to come back to the middle. That's the relationship that we as fans now have with Eric Ten Hag because we trust him. So when he makes a change or whatever, we ain't shocked. We ain't shocked. So as fans, the belief is there because ultimately the results are there. So I don't see any issues in the short to medium term with the way that the fans are viewing Eric Ten Hag or our football team. Because I think if we have a drop-off, the drop-off won't be around tactics. The drop-off will be around the resources that he has available to achieve what he wants to achieve for our football club. Simple.
Interesting. Yeah, definitely. Agreed. AB. I mean, you came to Old Trafford for your first ever time last week. You picked a good time. But how did it feel for you as a fan who's never been to Old Trafford before that moment, and you took it all in? And obviously, I know you watch all of our games, so you've seen how bad we have been. How did those two things match up for you, and how did it make you feel?
So I would start with Eric again. That is a really good coach who we believe in, we trust so much. And I personally have not really trusted, even when we had Mourinho, I never really trusted him because sometimes there is that ego. I want it for myself rather than I want it for the team. I want the win for myself. But with Ten Hag, it's all about the team and the fans. And he has a winning mentality. And he's also building the winning mentality around him. With that winning mentality comes with passion. And if you mix those two together, you get some outrageous celebration like we saw Casemiro did. You know, he did not even know. He hugged the two kids. I saw the video as well. He hugged the two kids and then he went to a random man beside and he hugged them really tight as well. That shows the passion he had. We saw Eric as well celebrating like we've never seen him before. He has been trying to suppress those emotions, but he's letting it out. And the fans as well. You know, when Wan-Bissaka did his thing, everybody just, from what I was watching, everybody stood up, clapped, did everything they can, and then he gave them belief. And then sometimes when you see Garnacho comes in, they're behind every single player that we have. And that's what once we're behind all of them,
they're saying it's just you're on a good run. They're just saying be careful. You're on a yellow card. Yeah. That's fine.
So once we are behind the team, the way we are, and then we're seeing because the fans, we can really feel the passion from the team. And once we see the passion, we go behind them, win, lose, or draw. We would go behind them 100%.
Yeah.
So I believe it's a good atmosphere now.
Yeah, agreed. Guys, we've come to the end of the show. An hour's just absolutely flown by. I want to big it up for Kenny and AB. Can we get a little round of applause there as well? Because I think they've been absolutely brilliant. Can we light up the comments as well? Because I know these guys obviously watch the show, and from experience, when you go from watching something to being in something and contributing, it's not always easy. Kenny with some questionable takes. No, not Kenny. AB with some questionable takes, and obviously they wanted you sin bin, but you managed to survive just. And as everyone's saying in the comments there, I think everyone's had a great time and testament to you both. It'll be great to have you guys back on. If you'd love to come back on, the community loves you. Yeah, it'd be brilliant. It'd be great stuff. And here's to 6 points this week. Actually, let's go around the room really, really quickly, actually. Owen, we'll start with you and work our way round. Owen, how many points are we going to get out of Palace and Arsenal?
I don't like
predicting. Come on.
I don't like. Oh, no, you know what, actually? I said 2-1 at the weekend and the score was 2-1. I think we will beat Palace and Arsenal. I'm still undecided, but we will not lose. I do not think we're going to go to the Emirates and lose. I will settle on that one.
Okay, Mina, how many points out of 6?
I think momentum, everything. I think we could get 6 points. I genuinely think that. And I did say last week going into the City game, I was feeling like confident. Said it was going to be 2-1. I even said like goals coming. Everyone in the studio, they were feeling at ease. As long as I'm on the match view for Crystal Palace.
You don't even know. You don't even know, Flex. Not only did she say a goal was coming, she said the minute, and she was a minute off. She was a minute off. It was crazy. She went 83rd minute. It was like 82nd.
Yeah, well, you just make sure you're there, Mina. You just make sure you're there.
6 points. 6 points.
Okay.
I think it's 2-0 at Palace, and I think it's going to be 2-1 at the Emirates.
Okay. AB, what are you going for?
I'm definitely going for 6 points as well.
I don't know why I asked you. Yeah, 6 points, 2
I
wins.
believe we're getting the 3 points from Palace, and I believe we are also getting just because of the seniority ahead of Arteta, because he's also doing a great job as well. But I think Ten Hag is smarter than him, and he's going to outclass him as well. So 6 points.
Fighting talk there. Kenny, what have we got? Are we going to get 6 points?
4 points. 4 points.
Yeah.
I've been made up with 4 points. If we can beat Palace, if we get a draw at Arsenal, I think that's massive. I think it's massive. I don't think we can ask for much more. I think we've got to be realistic and understand that if we get 4 points, then we're probably 4 points further ahead of Liverpool. Because Liverpool, Chelsea, they're sleeping giants. And we're only halfway through the season, and I know they're fishing.
He's done the stuff again. Oh,
cliffhanger, Ken.
No. I'm sure he'll come back on.
Yeah.
He will.
Can I just say that someone said in the comments 5 points? I don't know how that's possible.
Okay, somebody cut me off because I said 4 points.
Oh, that's all right. 4 points. We got you. We did hear you. That's good. And that's all right, mate. And Marcel, what are you going for?
I think there's a lot of variables to look at, but is Mina, are you Arsenal? Are you in the studio for Arsenal?
I mean, if I'm allowed to come.
No, you're definitely allowed to come. You bring good luck and points.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
So that raises my optimism levels. So I'm gonna go with but I do agree with Kenny though. I said 4, but if you're in the studio, then 6. Obviously,
that's how it works, Marcel.
That's how it works, Marcel. 100%. And then when you look at Crystal Palace, I think Arsenal have got a longer period. They've got a longer rest period in terms of preparing for us. But Owen's right in terms of obviously the momentum. It's a massive thing, and it's the momentum and the away feeling. But if we can go into Arsenal's backyard and come out with 6 points, then that is a massive, massive statement. And I think Ten Hag's a better manager out of the two. I just feel like they're playing beautiful football as well, and fluid football. It's going to be in the comfort of their stadium. It's rocking. You have to respect it, like you were saying, Fleck. It's a fortress there, and it's going to be difficult. So 4 points would be nice, but I do agree with, you know, I believe in the Mystic Mina, so 6 points.
Mystic Mina. There you go. That's getting on the t-shirts. Mystic Mina.
So I want to add one thing. I'm sorry. As long as we have Casemiro against Arsenal, I think we are winning the game.
Wow, that simple.
Yeah, as long as we have him, then the defense is solid and the strikers will do their thing.
Yeah, we could lose Casemiro as well. That's another variable in here as well. But I think Weghorst hits the ground running, guys. I think he really does.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully, Casemiro doesn't get a yellow card against Palace, which would keep him out of the Arsenal game. Couple super chats on the way out. KG's therapist has a super chat. Says, y'all bring Saka's cousin to UV now. People saying you look like Saka, AB. Have you had that before?
No.
Well, there you go. First time.
Then I guess my cousin is going to lose then.
Kristen says Todd Bowley bought Zane's wish list in the Mudrick. I like that one. And Farhan says, if we're in a title race, then so are Newcastle, right? But personally, I think it's too soon to say we are. So there you go, guys. What a show. Great show. Really, really good fun. Big up to Kenny, big up to AB, big up to Mina, big up to Owen, and obviously big up to Marcel, and big up to you guys in the comments for getting involved, having some fun. And yeah, just getting involved. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the UV. If you are new, we've got a lot of content coming out for you in the lead up to the Crystal Palace game. You've got the Flexing KG show tomorrow at 6 p.m. We've also got a preview coming out with Rich from Eagle Eyed Football. And obviously, you've got me and Owen in the morning as well, bright and early, 9 a.m. So plenty of content coming you guys' way. We are out of here. Take care, guys. See you soon. Peace.